looking his way because he was always in some type of relationship. Me, on the other hand, I was 16 years old, living my best life. I mean, eating popsicles, dirty socks. Like, that was just me. I was a true kid at heart. Like, I was in no rush to grow up in any type of way. Like, I knew I was living the best life as a kid, and I was in no rush to grow up. And so I said that to say he was always in some type of relationship. Always in some type of relationship. So I was never...
Listen.
What?
Look, come on now. I'm young. I said, look, I was single, ready to mingle.
And you was definitely mingling.
Yeah,
You definitely mingling.
Come on now. Don't act like we're not going to act like we ain't always young. It was like, hey, it's the 90s. It's, 2000s.
I'm going to give you that.
But there's perspective, though. From a male's perspective and then, female's perspective a lot of times.
This is true. Like I said, he was always in some type of
Portia
relationship.
remembers mingling. Look.
He had it down pat, y'all. So we were always friends and just friends. With that being said, I never really had like a serious relationship. I was definitely like, oh, maybe one day mine will come along, but I never really, I had people who liked me, but I don't think they ever really pursued me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like, hey, go slip my number to her, but never really pursued me. It was always that type of thing. I think once they found out that I really wasn't like what they probably assumed, like
what they were used
that
to,
typical church girl PK,
yeah.
Stigma that people put on people. Oh, is she really saved? And I think once they found out I was really saved, they were like, deuces. I guess that wasn't what you wanted.
Right. No, you was what they wanted. Your morals isn't what they wanted.
Hey, it is what it is. God knew. God blocked it. So with that being said, we began, I'm just going to go in there. We just started dating, started talking.
Go ahead, yeah.
And what's really interesting, and I think we're both at a place where, and I would never talk about anything that would offend or bring my husband shame. So anything we talk about, we've already talked about it together.
No secrets between us.
We've already talked about it. But when we were establishing our dating or courting, whatever you call it, it was known early on that I was a virgin. And he was not.
Wasn't.
And so you can imagine some of the struggles. I shouldn't say, some of the struggles getting to that place of early on in our, I won't say just early on, just dating period.
Right.
The things you battle with. I'm going to keep it 100.
Right.
It was a struggle. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, I wanted to be kept. And yes, I wanted to keep this testimony. But there were moments, there were times it got tough.
Yeah.
I literally had to set up ways of escape for me to win. Like, I remember one of my good friends, Lolo, Lauren, if you watching, friend, you already know. You ready?
She said, yup.
I would say, Lolo, call me or text me at 11 o'clock.
Right.
If I'm not home, I'm cutting up. Help me.
Right.
And when I tell you, my friend would call me, hey, are you good? Are you good? Did you make it home yet? Because that's how bad I wanted to win. And I remember battling with certain things I've never felt before. I've never experienced before because, mind you, he was my first real relationship.
Right.
And I remember I was talking to my mom and we were in the kitchen and I was just like, when you start kissing and petting things, that's the setup. Yeah. That's the setup.
Somebody said that's good that we had that set up.
Yes.
We had a set up. And it was established by her dad, really. He told me when I asked him if we could date, he said, he leaned, the Pastor Jones, all y'all who know Pastor Jones.
My dad is no nonsense.
He said, you date in groups, stay in groups. And when he said that, I said, yeah, we going to be in groups. But she had her accountability.
And I had to. I mean, there were times, and this is how crazy it is that your flesh, that's why people be like, oh, they've been dating for years. Now, somebody can chime in. Maybe you don't agree with this. But dating for years, and you talking about you're not doing nothing, or come on, that's a setup, y'all. I'm sorry. That's, to me, we gotta call it for what it is. That's a setup.
Right. It
okay,
is.
we only dated for a year, and I was like, Jesus, I gotta get to the altar tomorrow. What?
But we were engaged. I forgot.
Yeah, we were engaged.
We didn't make it that long, right?
Yeah,
we were engaged, dating,
a year and
engaged,
a year and a half.
year.
Yeah, because I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this another year. Wait, please. So people that said they.
Troy, nope.
No, thank you, Troy. Like, let's be honest. People are like, we've been dating for 5 years. I'm like, stop lying to you.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Stop lying to yourself.
Tell yourself. Right.
At this point, it's you're lying to, because you're not fooling nobody else. Mm-hmm. The way this flesh was working during that season, I said, my God, it felt like somebody put a coat of heaviness on me. Because when I tell you my flesh was getting so weak,
right.
I said, God, you're going to have to help me, because this is more than I imagined, okay?
Right.
And so I remember being in the kitchen with my mom, and she asked me a question. She said, Rosetta, are you a virgin because you want to be, or are you a virgin because you never had the opportunity? And I remember when she asked me that, I was like, yikes. Because for me, having this testimony was something like I really wanted to have, and something that was really dear to me, but I never thought about it. It's easy to keep your testimony if you don't have nothing coming at you. It's easy to keep your testimony if you ain't been through nothing, as far as to kind of work it. And I was like, God, and when she asked me that, I had to change my thinking. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. I want this testimony because I want it.
Right.
Even in this, and though I was, madly attracted to him, I still am. Thank you, Jesus.
Come on now,
tell
the truth. Tell the people the truth.
Hallelujah.
They say we speak the truth. Go ahead.
Okay. It got to a place that I wanted it, not even for me anymore, but I wanted it for him. And I'll let you chime in on this part, because how did you feel about that? I knowing where your testimony came from and knowing where my testimony was, how was that for you? Because I know how it was for me. I was getting weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think and let me put that PSA out there. I am a PK too, and we had good rules established in our home that you ain't gonna be kicking out my sheets and fornicating in my house and doing all that. You gonna be out. So let's put that in retrospect right now. I did what I wanted to do as a young person, but they were against parents' wishes. So shout out to my mom and pops. Y'all raised me right, but hey, it's life.
Papa J.
Yeah, but it's life. So unfortunately, my testimony coming in here, as far as her coming in with nobody. None of those tales behind her. I had, I think, almost every relationship from junior high to my adult life was sexually active, was, promiscuity, all that, was involved. And in it doesn't really, y'all know, it don't really feel like all you got to do is hide it from your parents and your parents, and make sure your secrets get out. And we good, but because we're not looking at spirituality, we're just looking at, look, I could be smoking dope. I could be gangbanging, all that kind of stuff, so I can hide this. And it just becomes a way of life at that age. Y'all, 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's like, it was normal. From her life to my life, it was normal that when you're dating, it's y'all not married, but y'all act married. You know what I mean? And so for me, it was like, okay, I know my moral grounds, but I'm so used to business as usual. It's no moral conviction there, so it was just always just a thing to do. It didn't even feel bad at the time. Wow. It only felt bad in doing the action, and then it's like, I gotta come to church on Sunday and sit, sit and hope that the preacher don't speak mine, that pastor don't call my name out.
My brother, you right there. Huh?
I tell you, as a PK, I hated going to revivals when there was an evangelist from out of town coming in. I'm like, oh, he gonna put me on front.
Call it out.
He gonna call me out. He gonna put out there like, I'm like, oh Lord, have mercy. I don't want him telling my business. Y'all know. Look, that's the thing about being a Christian and coming up as a PK is, that, hey, I ain't supposed to be doing it, but I'm like, hey, and then the conviction really sets in when that out of town revivalist comes in. Like, oh,
God gave him a fresh word.
And we really believed in the power of God then. So coming into this relationship, it was a lot different for me. Of course, I had the fear of Pastor Jones, dad, saying dating groups. And he told me, if anything, my father-in-law told me when I went to date him, look, y'all can laugh.
And my dad's from Memphis, so my dad is no nonsense.
The great Pastor Jones sat up at the edge of his seat and said, dating groups, because if anything is to happen, it would not be good for you.
He didn't smile.
He didn't smile.
He didn't say nothing after that.
Nope.
He said it will not be good for you. I remember I sat there and like, what does that mean? Are you going to kill him? Are you going to kill my fiance?
Boyfriend.
My boyfriend. Are you going to kill my boyfriend? Like, how are we going to explain this to people?
Look, I was like, and I felt that like, man, I said, God, you got to help your brother out because you know what I'm used to, failing time to time again, trying to find, like, God, I won't do it this time. Oh, next time I won't do it, God. And it is the same. So now I had this man who I respect, and I know a lot of you do, Pastor Jones' dad say, it would not be good for you. So I had a lot of, I did have a lot of, at that point, a lot of, I would say encouragement to stay on the narrow, to keep her on the narrow. Because you got to think, this is his baby. This is the 7th of those Joneses. Y'all know this is Zedabu. So he knows, like, this is and especially being a father now, it's like, your last hope is to get your daughter to the altar of virgin. So I really felt that, and then a lot of pressure to honor that.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we can say we're not going to have sex. We're going to say we're not going to fool around on our dates and be alone. But, when things get hot and heavy, when skin start touching. And
it don't got to be nothing. Your foot can actually accidentally touch my foot. You did that on purpose.
You don't normally wear that lip gloss.
You don't normally touch my foot like that.
Right.
Stop playing.
Right.
When you are hot and bothered, it won't take much, honestly. Mm-hmm. Just breathe on me wrong.
Tracy Davis says SWV, weak in the knees.
It is so real. I promise you. I'm like, some folks out here lying, Jesus.
Right. We got it. Oh, no, that don't come up.
I'm going to tell you right now.
We say,
sis, brother, you're not that deep. You're not that saved. Sex is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? It's a God-given thing, but in marriage.
In marriage, right.
And the reality is everybody has already, some people have experienced, some people have not. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you are in your journey, God is able to restore and recover. Let me just put that in there.
He'll change your morals.
He will change, and he can change your heart. He can change your thinking, but you got to want it. Mm-hmm. You got to want it for yourself. A lot of times we give into stuff because we don't want to fight it.
Right.
Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
There were many times on this journey, mind you, he's already experienced. I didn't. So there were many a time during this time whether we went to go work out together that there were open doors. Working out, something as simple as working out.
Gold's Gym, out in the public, putting extra weight that I don't normally put. Like, God, please let me get this
muscle shirts and whatnot. Just set the people up. Just set the people up.
She giving compliments. Well, I like your arms. I'm like, you like them? They're my daddy arms,
And his cats were showing. I was just like, this is too much for me. This is for the birds, okay? Right. Y'all out here lying. Didn't nobody tell me.
Right.
Didn't nobody warn me about this. And so then, but it really got to a place on a serious note that it was no more that I wanted to be a virgin or kept for Rosetta, right? For Rosetta's image, for Rosetta's name. It literally, I had to dig down deep. I said, God, what is going to be my why? And it went to, I'm now doing it because I know his testimony. I didn't want to be a stumbling block for him. I knew what God has brought him from, his past relationships. I didn't want to be just another female in his life, knowing he has been called, knowing the calling in his life, and being another stumbling block. I had to think, if I love him enough, I should want his testimony. I want him to conquer this. I want him to overcome this and let him know, hey, we both made it to this altar redeemed or restored. Right. You know what I mean? And for me, that was so important because when I tell you my why was getting weak, I was like, well, let the people talk about me. I don't care.
Right.
I'll take one for the team.
Right.
I'll come back for this.
Right.
But no, for real. I thank God he gave me the why. And the why was because if I love him enough,
right,
then I should at least fight for him. And that's when, for me, I got strength. I was like, I can do this thing in Jesus' name. I can do this.
Right.
And I'm so glad, to God be the glory, I'm so glad we were able to keep that testimony.
Right.
Because that was a huge thing. And for me, I thought about not just for us, but I thought about for the children, our children, for generational strongholds. Yes, you can make it to this altar. You know what I mean? In a truthful way. Yes, you can walk down in your white dress knowing that you kept yourself for your husband, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. And a lot of times I was like, God, how am I ever going to relate to people? And not that I thought people would think I'm a square or weird, I'm like, I'm too grown for that. But sometimes you do wonder, God, how am I going to be effective if I never experienced this, if I never did it that way? People would think I'm unrelatable. And I had to get past that. There's a reason why God, there's a reason why everybody's testimony is different. I don't know who I will impact. I don't know his story or who he will impact, but God knows. And I want to let somebody know you can make it.
Yeah, you can.
That false pretense, oh, it's too hard, it ain't that deep, it's not that serious. Yes, it is, sis. Yes, it is, bro. It is that serious. Yeah. There's things that are spiritual that we that are spiritual, but we only look at it from a natural aspect. And especially if you're a Christian and just for your marriage in general, there are some sacrifices you do for the sake of love. I'm willing to wait because I love you that much.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he could have pressed me. You know what I mean? He could have, knowing where he had came from his testimony.
I don't know. Robert Earl, David Jones. I don't know.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? It could have, but certain things you do for love,
right?
For the sacrifice and for love each other, and then of course, man, like God, I don't want to play with God like that. That's not funny. Like something crazy happened just because you're being disobedient,
right.
And so that was started off early on, and I thank God we were able to make it to that altar in that way, and the glory of God that fell at our wedding.
Man, yeah.
It was unexplainable because it was unexpected for me. It's not, you don't plan for that situation to happen that way, but the presence of God that came on for us, for me, it was just like a stamp.
For those of you, look. We got a lot of people at the wedding, but a lot of y'all know. But in case y'all tagging people who we don't know, our wedding turned into a church service. When he said, "I now pronounce you Mr. and Mrs. Davion and Rosetta Johnson," when I tell you we went in, when I mean hashtag gave God some feet,
give him feet.
Look, y'all YouTube Johnson's wedding. I'll tell you, it's up there. Thank you. Shout out to Jamia McCray. She put that up there.
Jamia, it's all about you,
It's all about you, girl. She put it up there. And it was overwhelming. And I think at that point it captivated the completion. You know what I'm saying? Like completing something that I had never done. I think if we kind of go back a little bit on my aspect, my why had to change as well. And it did change. It was first out of fear. Let's keep it real. And y'all know Michelle Jones, mom. Look, I remember telling her we would kiss too heavy. We kissed but I didn't give the first kiss. I'm gonna put that out there.
Hold on, brother.
PSA service announcement. Davion Johnson did not kiss Rosetta Jones first.
Brother.
What kept y'all say?
I was weak, Saints. It was getting hot out here.
Listen, I'm telling you. But it's my why changed. And so you threw me off. What was I saying?
You were like your why had to change too. At first it was out of fear.
Yeah, it was out of fear. So we kissed too heavy sometime, and I'm like, fix your face when you go in that house. You look guilty. Change your face. I was like, you gonna walk in, and then your mom is gonna look, and she be like, I already know. I'd sit there. We'd go to Taco Bell. We'd go somewhere, anywhere, and we get to just kissing a little too much. And I'm like, all right, now look. She says, okay, babe, I'll see you later. I'm like, look.
I was always condemned. I always felt bad.
She would come home and text me, I feel bad. I'm like, golly, we only kissed. Like, but that was the for me, third base all the way home was my regular. So first base was like third base to her. Y'all remember bases? Don't act like y'all don't know the bases now. That goes back to I don't know what 80s probably. First base, second base. Listen, third base was kissing for her. So she'd go, babe, I'm nervous. I'm like, just go straight to your room when you get home. Because mom was a night owl. She always stayed up. Like, night owl. She wasn't going to sleep till she was home. I'm like, just go in and say goodnight because you going to have her praying and I don't want to call like, what, Y'all know it's going to turn into a tearing. Look, I'm telling you about Missionary Jones and her, not only the saints and the children of God, but her children now on that is double. And so I'm like, oh, Lord, please, look, fix your face. Don't go in there.
He did.
Look, and so when I found out that she was keeping herself for my testimony, I wanted to honor her testimony because I never had anybody put me before their flesh because I know I didn't. And so, it's as male, a lot of times they see us or we're put out there as the domineering one or the ones who's going to chase after it and all that kind of stuff. So I knew, like, if something would have jumped off, everybody would be looking at me like, I knew it. But it had to change from fear to just honoring that she cared about me enough to be like, hey, we ain't going to do all that. If it gets hot and heavy, which it did a couple of times, like just kissing, I'm like, let's chill out because we know what this road is going to be. And then I respected that a lot and I appreciated it. And I wanted to hold the standard that, hey, listen, her first boyfriend was gonna make sure because she told me before she even kissed me. This is a little nugget, y'all. She said, and she spoke at Prophet Shanana. She said. No, I don't really kiss. I don't kiss people. She said, because I want the man that I kiss. That's going to be my husband. I kid y'all not. That's what she said. She said, the man I kiss is going to be my husband. What she didn't realize, she said, the man that she kissed. You got
to keep that.
Leave your offerings. Leave your offerings.
The reason why. Okay,
But she spoke it. And that's what she said. And then so she kissed me. I said, oh, well, I guess I've got to marry her. Most of them it's like you sleep with her or you get him knocked up. He's like, I gotta marry him now. No, we can't. She was like, nah, Doc, that's it. It's a wrap. I said, hey, it is what it is, and I was happy about it.
Oh wow, that's awesome, babe. Oh, to God be glory. Yeah, I mean, that was real for me. I'm like, I don't. Like I said, it was my first relationship. I never kissed anybody. I know. I was 21 when I got married. So this was it. And I was like, I don't just go around kissing people. That's just not my thing. I don't do that. So if we kiss, you're it. You have to marry me. Because I always said the man I kiss will be my husband. And that's what happened. And so, from that journey, there's so many layers of it. But I thank God, where he has taken us and growing us into, we are yet growing, we are yet learning, we are yet getting under good teaching and wisdom to help us on this journey. And let me just put this out there for all married couples, whether you're newlywed, maybe you, and those who are a little seasoned, you already know this, but for those of you, don't wait till something comes up to go to counseling. Don't wait.
Right.
To just something bad happens for you to cry out for help. Mm-hmm. Whether your marriage is in a good place, a wonderful place, or a blissful place, still seek out godly wisdom and counseling for your marriage.
Right.
And the reason why I say a godly counsel, because marriage was established by God early on. In the Word, you'll find it. He put man and woman together. And I feel that it's important. A lot of times we don't cry out until something happens. Mm-hmm. And then we say, oh, I need help. But by that time, sometimes so much damage has happened, you're doing a lot of repair. So get to know each other early on and learn what God is creating your marriage to look like. Mm-hmm. Because this was something that I'm yet learning and had to learn quickly, that I am not my parents.
Right. I
am not my parents. And you're smiling. What happened?
I just want to put a pause. Thank you. Portia has a question for us.
Yes.
And if y'all don't already know, ask us any questions. Like we ain't
I know
counselors.
nobody's that.
But if you have a question about our walk and what we did, we
personally.
can answer that. She said, "Do you guys use godly counsel or go outside counselors?" We've always, since the day we got married or were thinking about getting married, we always went to, number one, that's the beauty of being in church. You go to your leader first, your pastor.
Yeah.
We were counseled by the late Barbara Jean Brown.
Yes.
And Bishop. That's what we went. We wanted to get married.
Our
first official. Of course, we had parents. My parents, her parents. We had examples and stuff like that. But when you got to go get it for yourself and get clear answers, we from jump we've always sought godly wisdom. Just because, and here's my reason why. I want somebody to counsel me from a perspective that I have. I have the perspective, or we have the perspective of church,
Christian,
godly
God,
principles,
Jesus.
waiting,
That's our belief.
All of that. That's what we chose to do. And so we've always gone to God. So it's always been our pastor, and currently our pastor, shout out Pastor Williams, First Lady Simone Williams, Pastor Charles Williams. He's accredited, so we even seek him. And so we're always seeking questions. If we have something that we can't agree on, we always seek godly counsel because we're under God's walk, and we keep God in our relationship, so that's why we have to have godly counsel. And I recommend anybody go to seek godly counsel, even if you're not a Christian, because at the end of the day is my opinion. These are all opinions.
Our opinion. Look, I ain't nobody's expert.
I've always looked at, if you look at the Ten Commandments, there are always things that, why don't we all abide by these laws anyway? You know what I mean? Of course, a lot of them are still intact, like don't murder nobody, don't steal, but a lot of principles that would make this world a better place and keep it a better place is godly principles. So we've always sought out godly counsel.
Yes, and once again, this is just our opinion, what we did for us. Now, if you go to a counselor that is not a Christian, that's your what your prerogative. That's what you want to do, and that's not. I'm not gonna say that's wrong either. Just for us, we chose because that's the type of lifestyle we're in,
right? And
it made sense for us. And
the words he says, seek godly counsel.
So
it's in the book.
That was for us though. And then, like I said, I think it's an amazing thing. I think it's a very healthy thing. I would advise anybody, before you even get married, go to counseling. Figure out some things about you now.
Right.
Don't wait. Don't wait till the battle is over. Shout now. Don't wait. Because a lot of times. Let me just say this. And
you got one because I have one too. Go ahead.
Okay. Wait, what you want to say? Hold on. Now you're making me nervous.
It's your live. You go. You go first.
Because a lot of times we think when we come together, we're going to be 100. And that's not the reality. You need to be whole, and that person needs to be whole.
Right.
Now, you ain't going to be perfect because none of us are perfect, right?
Ain't no halves.
No, but if you're a broken person, a relationship does not make you whole. You know what I mean? If you have issues and things now, which we all do, a relationship does not fulfill that void that you have within you.
Right.
That's something that you are going to have to ask God to help you with about you.
Right.
So when you get with your partner, when you get into your marriage, you're not trying to repair you. And vice versa. That person is not trying to repair themselves at the same time and it's too much.
That's good.
It's too much. You do that before you get married so you can be whole. So when y'all come together, y'all can be a power team. And then when trials and when things come that are naturally going to come, because they're coming, that you are stable and that you're healthy as individuals. So
my little nugget, that was good.
Okay.
I like that. Okay. My little nugget was just as in our health community, they always say stay going to the doctor, know what's going on in your body. I remember we got married. Pastor Jones came to me and said, "All right, man, you make sure you get a blood test." Kid you not. He said, "I want to make sure we get it. Go ahead and get a blood test so we know what everybody's bringing."
My dad is no nonsense. Like he has no time for foolery. None. Like none. He has no time. Like he does not have time.
But that's anything. With your health, you got to know what's going on the inside. Because if you're dealing with, like, from my standpoint, if you have a sexually transmitted disease and you don't know when it's lying dormant, and then I bring it to my good thing, then you don't want that. So just as that, Health-wise, you go to counsel before you get into marriage, so you know what you're bringing. And then certain things that don't involve one another to be fixed, you can fix that, address it, and then when you get into a relationship, say, hey, if I do this, I know it might look that way, but this is my background. And show them your bill of health. Show them what's on your resume so they can say,
I can respect that, though.
I deal with this. This is what I deal with. So when they come up, they're like, oh, who is this crazy dude? Not necessarily times we're hiding it. A lot of times we don't understand that that's what it is. Because there's things that she'll do or I'll do that when we do it, we don't recognize we're doing it. And that's how arguments start. You don't know the other person's point of view. So that's my thing on it. Go ahead and get your spiritual, your emotional bill of health before you try to engage and bring someone else in onto it.
That's really good.
That's my nugget.
Spiritually and naturally, because that stuff is real. That was really good. I like that.
I appreciate that. We had nuggets. Come on, get the sauce.
I like the little nuggets. Those are good nuggets.
Right.
But and then just like we said, just establishing who you are and creating the how you all want your marriage to be. I think is very important, because I know for me that was definitely, and I'll just be honest and transparent. So when you have your role models, what marriage looks like, so a lot of times you find yourself trying to do a replica of that, and you have to learn very quickly that I am not my mother. He is not my father. We are two individuals, and like I said, thank God for godly counseling, because they can bring that out. Mm-hmm. You may have influences. You may have somebody who may lived it before you, but you still have to walk this journey out yourself and create your own atmosphere. And that's very important, because if not, that can cause a lot of damage and a lot of hurt and definitely a lot of frustration on that.
Right. Yeah, my dad, Pops used to always tell me, sometimes the issue is that it's you.
Right.
So
it be that simple.
It be that simple.
Nothing deep.
Right. It ain't deep. The issue
is
you. Right? And you got to get that worked on. So shout out, Pops.
Yeah. It sometimes it's really nothing deep. Sometimes you just got some things you got to work out.
Another question. Another question. Gene Richardson Oliver. Okay. Says, so are you guys a part of a marriage ministry at your church? Currently, no. No. In our transition, in our spiritual walk, we've done some physical transitioning, and we're under, like I said, I can't shout them out enough. Pastor Williams, First Lady Simone Williams, they are, in our eyes, very good to perfect in this category. Yeah. But God did give me something as far as couples, not counseling, but more of a sharpening aspect.
Coming together.
Gleaning from one another. Because I feel that a lot of us, we don't have all the answers, but I might have something that you didn't know, and you might have something that I didn't know. Yeah. And when we get in and expose these conversations in just a kick it session. Yeah. I was a part, we help out our cousin, my brother, they have one. They're just kicking it. We'll go out, have a barbecue, and play some games. Yeah. And just glean off one another's relationship, exposing yourself and making your lives better.
Can I insert something real quick, though, before it leaves me? But while doing that, I'm very big on, for me, this is just me, this is just Rosetta, once again, just talking. I'm very sincere about what relationships we put ourselves around. Yeah. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. We're picky. We're picky.
We're picky kickers. It's like a mother with her child. I don't let everybody hold my baby. Mm-hmm. I don't let everybody touch my baby. Mm-hmm. Because this is something, to me, is something sacred. It's something that is you got to handle with care. With marriage, and I feel that you can't hang around everybody. Right. Period. And you're in your marriage.
It doesn't make them bad people.
It doesn't make them bad people. But even other married couples, I had to realize that I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't hang around them. And the reason being is not because they're bad people. And yes, they may be Christians too. But I had to realize there may be certain things in your marriage I don't necessarily want to be around. For example, I probably don't like the way you talk to your husband, and I don't like the way your husband talk to you. Right. I don't want to put my marriage around that type of influence, because I am very, I know the word to be true, and evil communication corrupts good manner. And though there may not be evil, bad communication corrupts good manner. And I just don't want that type of influence on my relationship. And so when we do have gatherings, when we do have things, I try my best. I'm like, God, is this a married couple we need to be hanging around? Is this somebody that either they're going to glean from us or we're going to glean from them? If so, then pair us together. Because whatever, I want it to be healthy. I want us to be better when we leave the session. I want us to leave better when we leave the barbecue. If you're talking about your husband and doing stuff behind his back, I don't want to be around that, because I don't want to adapt that type of mentality, because that ain't good. Right. That ain't good, sis. And I'm very sincere about that. Like, I'm very like,
we don't think it's wrong to pray about a couple that you want to hang out with. There's been times where we've been asked, hey, we should get together. Okay, cool. God bless. If we don't already have your number, get the number, and then we'll say, hey, so-and-so one time. Okay. I'll say, all right, well, let's pray about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think that has to be anything deep because you have to think about it. When you're exposing yourself to another relationship,
you gotta be careful.
You can subconsciously glean off of, whatever. So I think it's okay to, agree or to put it before the Lord. Hey, is this something? And if it is, you could be that light, and ask that you pour more in than it takes out.
Yeah.
So,
but you really have to be led by God with that. Like I said, once again, now this is related to people who are in that type of walk of Christianity. And, I think all of our goal is to be led by God. And I think it's very important because you'll be surprised other people's way of thinking and how they run their marriage, which is their business. Mm-hmm. But be careful who you link yourself up with in your marriage. And this would definitely go out to, hopefully, to all marriages, but especially those early on, because you can't adapt or adopt everybody's way of thinking and everybody's way of doing in their marriage. Right. Because it may not be healthy for your marriage, and it may not work for your marriage. Mm-hmm. How they talk to each other may not work for you and your husband, so don't do it.
Sometimes what's for the Joneses is just for the Joneses.
It's just for them.
No pun intended.
Right? Don't because you want to protect what God has given to you, and in your relationship, in your marriage, you definitely, like he said, you want to keep God first, and you definitely want to be spirit led. I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't want to do marriage without God, because I feel like it just wouldn't work and it wouldn't make sense. Right. We wouldn't know how to come together in a cohesive way with all of our backgrounds, with all of our issues, and try to create a beautiful thing out of it. Only God can do something like that. So try to do it without God doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. So that would be my nugget. Yeah, get counseling, get a marriage counselor, but also hang around other healthy married couples. Mm-hmm. Healthy married couples. I think that's very important as well. There's something you may get or something they may get from it. Right. That's what I feel regarding that. And it's a process. Sometimes it can be a lonely road because you realize, man, it's slim pickings. Who can we hang around, guys? But what? I do believe God will send you some friends, and even in family, you can find those safe places, those safe havens where you can hang around, and that you can be okay with your marriage being around, and you're going to get good influence. I know he'll get good influence. I know that I will get good influence, and I think that's very important. But and then also, this is just for me, be careful of what you tell people. Don't be telling people all your business.
You can't tell everybody what you put in your macaroni and cheese.
Don't tell. Stop telling people your business as a married. It's just not good.
Relationship period, though.
That's because relationship.
Even before you get to that altar, you gotta establish a trust that, hey, what's happening between us is between us and God. Woo. And whoever is in counsel with us, so they can give us godly counsel. Stop.
Listen, if at the end of the conversation, if all they said was, "Girl, that's crazy," stop telling me your business.
right. Or something right, or negative, something negative.
Right. Ooh, he trifling. Don't. That's not the type of stuff you need to be sharing. Right. Stop. Stop.
Right.
Stop. In the words of my cousin, stop.
Stop.
Because it's not healthy.
Right.
Because you want to be around somebody who is going to point you in a way that's going to point you to win.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're not always right. And a lot of times when you tell your side of the story, you're not telling it all. Hold on, God is doing a new thing in me. You ain't going to look at me like that.
I'll say I'm not all
Oh, okay. Oh, no. Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to bust me out. Hold on now, God. Hold on now.
Oh, look, we live.
God's been good all day. He's been good all day.
No.
But be careful. You want somebody who's going to keep it 100 with you in love in a spiritual aspect. Hey, Rosetta, you're not all the way right either. You cut up sometimes too. Sometimes your attitude can be a little wrong too. You want people in your life that are going to keep it real and keep it honest and love you both and want both of you to win. Mm-hmm. And I think that's so important. Don't tell everybody your marital business.
And what we learned a lot of times is even in, before we got married, a lot of times it's not that the person listening is bad, but a lot of times the person listening is only in your corner. A lot of times it's
only in your favor.
Only in your favor. So they're going, girl, yeah, do I see you? Do I see you? And then when y'all get together because you done poured out your heart and your feelings and how you were feeling in that moment, they're still held on to it. And I can speak to a time that happened before. No names, but we had a little dispute in our dating, and she was pouring into that person who was, tight, and then later on, we talking about getting married and love, and that person's like, hold up, wait a minute.
No,
I just think it's funny, but that person had her back. It was like, no, hold up. I ain't forgot. You may forgive, but I ain't forgot. And a lot of times they ride for you and not your relationship. And so you always want people who are going to ride for your relationship. Even in separation, I've had friends and people, family members and stuff like that who separate and unfortunately have separated. But I've always made it a choice that even in y'all separating, I love you by yourself, and I love y'all collectively. So I'm not in y'all business. So whatever happened, I'm going to love you. I'm going to still treat you accordingly.
Right.
So I think that's important to keep people who are for your relationship and not just for you.
Right.
Individually.
Right. Be very careful with that. And I mean, that goes with, once again, with everything about be careful who you put your marriage around. And if you're married and you have single friends, use wisdom with that. Honestly, save or not save. Honestly, use wisdom with that. Don't let your marriage become so common with other people that they feel like your relationship is interject.
Whatever they want.
Leave some stuff to secrecy. Something that only you and your husband know. Your friends shouldn't know everything about what he likes and what I like. Some stuff only he should know. Some stuff only I should know. Some stuff you gotta protect. Some stuff. If you have what.
So go ahead, Ms. Jean Oliver. She said, "Not everybody wants you to win. Sometimes I can love you. I really don't want y'all together. I don't really want y'all to make it."
Bingo.
That was good.
That is so true. Thank you for saying that, because honestly, that is the truth. Some people are like, "Yes, I'm glad they had an argument today.
Right.
Ooh, hope it was bad enough
going
for him
around
to leave.
looking all perfect,
Ooh,
looking all shiny,
wait for you to mess up.
Polish.
I couldn't.
Ooh.
Yeah, you are so right. Thank you for pointing out, because that is the truth. Be careful who you are telling your stuff to, because they could be the very ones rooting for y'all to fail. And that is real talk.
Come on.
Very real. Thank you for that word of wisdom. But yes, if you have friends or a single, please, excuse me, I had a little interruption. Please realize that this is my opinion. I do have single friends, but there are some things even they have respect for, that they know, okay, you're not going to be in my house all night kicking it, unless like a barbecue or something. And I always run it by him. He's like, I don't care, but just because of respect.
Right.
And I want everybody to know this is not a common thing. I want you to feel like, okay, it's probably time for me to go home. I want you to feel that way, because it's not a common thing. And I think you got to be really careful when you have people that are not married around your marriage.
Come on, Shanice, preach it. She said, "Don't give your pearls to swine." That's a good. I love.
DC Poe.
Look, cast forth not your swine to pearls, because they will try and render you. Pretty much, they gonna end up walking over you later anyway.
Cast your pearls not to swine. Yeah, I don't. That is good. That is good. You can't give everybody
Don't give all your good stuff away.
Your good nuggets, what works for your marriage. Oh, my husband likes this. Sis, don't be. Why would you share that?
Yeah.
That's silly. That's what your husband likes. That's what he wants you to know he likes, not for her to know what he likes.
Right.
Vice versa for the women. Don't be telling other men what you like and what you're. Don't do that.
Bet not.
That's wisdom between you and your husband for y'all to be great.
Sometimes people are window shopping.
You just, some things you gotta just use wisdom in and just say that's not okay.
Right.
But what I was going to say about the hanging around single friends, be careful because you don't want your marriage to become common. You're in a different place now. Yes, you can still kick it. Yes, you can still have fun. Like I said, I have my best friend, but even with that, we had it. Because she loves us so much, she respects it. She honors it.
And my best friend too. One of my brothers.
Right. Respects it and honors it. And I think that's very important. You know what I mean? You're not going to just show up at my house anytime.
Right.
Those days are gone. You know what I mean? Let me run it by my husband first. I think certain things that we just got to bring the respect aspect into it. And I think that will definitely be helpful for any marriage. I don't care what stage of the game you're in. I think it's helpful.
I think we also do good at making it... putting it out there that we're not eager just to not be alone. Like, we love being alone. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, we love kicking it, but we love being alone. And so I think what that aspect is, oh yeah. Well, even if I'm sure she'll say yes, and she's sure I'll say yes, we always say, all right, well, let me check with my wife, or let me check with my husband. Just because it's that what she always tells me, she says, I don't want to seem like we're always just available to everybody else other than one another and God, you know?
Yeah, you just don't want it to become common. Like, oh, she don't care if I come over. He don't care. Well, no. Let me check. Let me see if my husband's okay with that. Even though in the back of my head, I'm like, I know Davion loves guests, and he would be more than ecstatic to have you over.
Kick it with us.
I still want you to know I'm going to ask.
Right.
I want you to know that you're still a guest that has to leave.
Right.
So I think that's important. And I just, marriage is there's so many layers that I think we're still figuring out, of course. But I'm thankful for the things that we're learning. I'm thankful for the people that have given us good nuggets. And I think certain things that are staples in your marriage, I think if you nourish those things, it will help in other parts of the relationship, especially when you start having kids and you're finding out your career and you're yet growing. There's things about us. I'm 31. You're going to be 33. Ooh, look, you got to think about it. Yeah, you're going to be 33.
Man, I'm putting all my business out there on the book.
And so, but we're yet evolving. We're yet growing. And
August 22nd, my Cash App is Sergey387.
Come on and bless the man of God. Bless the man of God. Oh, that is so funny. A little plug-in. But we don't want to keep y'all long. I know we could talk about this all night long.
Listen,
so maybe what we'll have to do is do another session, babe.
If they want it, I'm watching. Give me some hearts and stuff, and don't do it just to be nice. Like, if y'all really want to come
back on this talk, because there's so much more that I wanted to share, but I'm like, the night is far spent. I don't want to keep going. I think some things you would just got to come back for part 2 for, but there's just so much things that we have learned along this way that I think it's important that we're helpers to one another, because you never know. Like I said, you never know what people are going through. You never know. You never know what they're facing, and you just. Okay. It can be helpful. Something y'all may ask may be helpful to us. Something you may say may be helpful to somebody else who's logging in. Yeah. So we're going to get ready to get off, but I want to tell you, thank you for coming in tonight to Growing Gracefully. My special guest, my best friend,
cameraman,
videographer. Does the editing, all that. But just want to say thank you to everyone. We love y'all.
We got a lot of hearts and likes.
Praying for those
part 2.
For those who are married, those who are engaged, those who are dating, those who are questioning the process, those who are virgins, those who are not. We just want to let you know we're praying that God will bless you. God will encourage you, strengthen you on whatever part of the journey that you're in. You're not alone. You're not crazy, and the things that you're battling with, you're not alone. You're not the only one going through that. And sometimes the devil makes you feel isolated in what you're struggling with, as if you're the only one. No, you're not. You're not alone. And so with that being said, Thank you, guys. Did you want to say any last words before we log off?
I mean, I definitely want to, look, being a PK, I definitely don't want to end anything like this without a prayer. So,
I respect it.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and time, Lord God, the opportunity to glean, Lord God, and just share our life and our ministry that you have given us, Lord God. We keep you first in all things, Lord God. Now touch every person who's watched it, every person who's sharing it, Lord God, everyone who wants to glean something, Lord God, and ask some other questions later or whatever, just to make their lives better, Lord God. We thank you, and we ask you to send angels their way into their relationship, mend those relationships, bond them tighter together and harder, Lord God, and closer and more close-knit. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well, y'all, it's been fun. It's been real. I'm your friend, your girl, your cousin, your sister, maybe even your best friend at the end of this. Thank you so much for coming to Growing Gracefully. We had a good time.
Stay tuned to part 2 since y'all wanted it. We're going to get the people what they want. Don't know when, but keep looking out for it. Also, if y'all go to her page and hit the notification button so we can, y'all know. Y'all ain't got to go looking forever. Y'all just know, hey, bing, oh, she's doing live. Here we go. We going live. Or, hey, you got a video up. So,
yes.
Appreciate all y'all.
And soon, I said this earlier in my video, but I'm going to say this last thing, then we're really going to push finish on this, okay? But for me to start doing live videos on YouTube, I have to get 1,000 subscribers.
Apparently, you need a whole lot of people.
I mean, YouTube is acting real
bougie.
bougie. I mean, oh my goodness. But anyway, since they want to act all like they got it all together, funny style or whatever, right. I got to do it on Facebook until meantime, unless y'all share and let people know about
Just
it.
the lives.
Just the lives. All right, y'all. Be blessed. We out.